Hello. Okay, so I've wanted to make a video like this for a little while. It's not as structured as some of my other tutorials and guides and walkthroughs, but I'm gonna be step by step walking you through how you can get an item that you've made prepared and sold on the Second Life marketplace, as well as at an in-world store with the framework called Allomancy. Um, so the first thing that you're going to want to do with this is you're going to want to make sure that you're working somewhere that you have permissions to res items. Um, Most commonly, that would be either a sandbox or a place like your own parcel, like we're at my parcel right here. Um, but you'll want to make sure it's somewhere where you have enough room to work on whatever you're doing. As you can see, I have this big front yard area. And you'll want to make sure that you have enough prims for that. So I have plenty, so we're good. The next thing that you're going to want to make sure of is obviously you're going to want to have items that you want to sell. So for me, if I go to my inventory, I have an entire folder I have put aside for my creations. So if I open that in a new tab, you can see my inventory is not very organized, but I try to keep this part of my inventory kind of organized, just because then it's easier for me to access it if anyone ever had an issue. The product that we're going to be selling and getting prepared today is a set of curtains that I made. They're mesh curtains, and they're... ignore that. There's a set of mesh curtains I made. Here we have a set that's closed, and we have a set that's open. You can edit them, you can unlink them and have just one curtain. You can have one closed and one open. They have a little lace border at the bottom, and they take like a basic square texture, so if you wanted to texture them, you could do that as well. Anyways, so that's the item that we're going to be selling. And I really do think it's smart to have everything in a folder. If you don't, just make sure that you can keep track of everything. The other thing that you're going to want to make sure of is you're going to want to make sure that the items that you want to sell have the correct permissions set for every single item that you're selling. So, for this, I want them to have only copy and modify perms. I don't want them to be transferable. So you go to the General tab when you have the object resed on the ground, and you make sure that the next owner can only modify and copy them. And that's the case for both of these, which is good. That means that we're all set on that front. This is something that you should keep in mind too. If you make something like an applier, for example, let's say you make like a material applier for a popular mesh body, you want to make sure that the permissions of the applier itself are ones that the creator has allowed you to do, just in case, you don't want to get like some kind of DMCA of some sort. Anyways, so I'm just going to get rid of these because we don't need them out right now. But the next thing that actually, we weren't supposed to do that, sorry. See, this one's a lot less scripted than my other kinds of things. The next thing that you're going to want to do, because you have the things already out, is you're going to want to take some product photos. So, the thing about product photos is, obviously, it's up to you how you present your object. But there's a few guidelines that I personally follow, and, it's just things that I think could be really helpful for anyone who has never done this before or wants to make sure that they don't get reviews that are saying, like, that the product photo was misleading or something like that, which I personally have never gotten, but I've seen plenty of objects get them, and no one wants to deal with that. So, one of the first things you're going to want to do is make sure that your lighting is set up the way you like. This is one of my favorite wind lights. It's called, like, Cumulonimbus Summer Sky. It's on Marketplace. It's really cute. I like it. I also like it's very bright, and I usually work in pastels, so it lights up pastels very nicely. But you might have a product that, let's say it has a full bright element, and you want to make sure that it shows up um, in the dark or it stands out, so you might use a really dark wind light for that. It's all up to you. But I think that another thing that's really helpful is to use the built-in screenshot feature. Um, if you use Firestorm, that's going to be this little camera down here. I have my settings set to something really, really small right now because I upload my photos, my general photos for Second Life, in a compressed manner. But I would choose PNG lossless and make the width and height something like really big, like maybe 3000 by 1800. Um, Something like that, honestly, is really good for taking a product photo so that you can make it size down once you take the photo. But yeah, that's what we'll keep it with for now. But most of all, as you can see, we're in my front yard, and there's a bunch of stuff in the background. There's my shop in the background. There's the train over there. There's a giraffe, that kind of thing. It's really cute, but if you are trying to sell stuff, especially if you have a certain way that you've already made advertisements, you want it to all be very consistent, and you want the product to be the thing that stands out. So I'm going to show you really quickly how to make a really basic green screen, which is what I use. So just go up to Build, and you're going to want to use Cube Prims, which is the default. Make one prim. We're going to stretch it so that it's really, really long and wide. So like that. Go to Move, hold down Shift. Shift move something to one direction. Rotate this 90 degrees. Bring it up. Bring it over. Do it again. Hold Shift down and move, and drag in the other direction. Rotate 90 degrees again, and then just move it into place. And this is really how I do most of my photo shoots for my products. I then select every object by clicking one object and then clicking another and holding Shift, and then hitting the button that said link. So now you have the basic component in this regard for mesh. I would go to then exit out and then hit edit again. Go to texture, go to the diffuse in the blend Fong. We're not going to mess with PBR. You can take PBR lit photos if you have a PBR material on your mesh or whatever product you're making, but that's not what I'm selling here, so yeah, we're just doing the really basic way. Make it blank, so now it's all blank white texture. Make it full bright, so it's all one texture, there's no lighting affecting it anymore. And then go to tints, and go to like, I don't know, we'll start with like dark blue, drag it down, something like that. So now we have like a blue backdrop for these curtains. I think that's cute. Yeah. If you have multiple colorways, for example, like let's say you were only selling one color curtain and you wanted to sell multiple versions, you might want to get all of those out so that you have multiple products shown in the same photo, or you might want to take multiple photos. I usually just take one, unless I have something specific to show off, but you should take as many photos as is needed for you to show off all of the features included in the product you're selling. I mean, that's my philosophy at least. So I'm gonna unlink these and just have for example, I have two meshes for this. I want to show off the open curtain and the closed curtain. I'm just gonna go here, copy the X position for it so that they're both in the same position, and there you go. There's my new curtains. And I'm gonna move them up a little. This one's pink, but I think I'm gonna make it kind of a dark, like, a dark purple, I think. And then, ooh, that looks good. And then make the lace down here like black, so then you can see, like, that you can change the color of this. So now that we have the product all set for the photo, we're going to position it. This is really useful if you are making, let's say you're selling a pack of poses, or you're selling a clothing object. It's very helpful to have a pose stand rezzed as well. And there's plenty of free ones that you can get on the marketplace if you don't have one. But that's really useful, especially for positioning people. But we're just doing something simple that doesn't need that right now. And okay, so we have it positioned. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to go to my screenshots, and there's that. There it is in the photo. I like how the lighting looks. I like that it's showing everything. And I like that the green screen takes up the whole background. So I'm going to hit save. And then it saves to the computer. If you have a lower end computer and you're taking a high-res screenshot like the one that we just took, you might want to give it a second. It might take a second to load, and you should not rush it. And if it crashes your Second Life, you should just do a lower res image. Because either way, you don't want it to crash. Okay, so we now have the product photo taken, and we have our items prepared. So the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get them all packed up and ready for sale. The reason that you do this is it's a lot easier to bundle a bunch of objects in one package, and it's also a lot easier to manage in case someone someone needs a redelivery or has some kind of issue with just the product in general, and you need to send them a new one. I find it much easier to just have it all in one package, plus it can be consistent that way. So, I have an item that I made a while ago. I call it the packing box base. This can be anything. I have this nice little mesh that it's based on like a vintage design that I drew and I meshed myself of like a shoebox, but it could honestly just be anything. It could be as simple as just rezzing another cube, and that's what you want to use. I think, though, that having a pre-made package like this is a good idea, especially one that when you add this, you right-click and add it. So, like, let's say this is the product that you just bought. You add it, it pops up on your HUD. I have it so that it default goes to your HUD. And then when you click it, it gives you the object, you accept it, you detach, you have the new packing box base, or whatever object it is that you bought from me. Inside of this packing box base, I have two things. I have the Unpacker script. I'm going to see... I'm pretty sure it's really simple. I don't remember where I got it, but it's full perm, so I think I'm probably going to upload it to my website later as just a text file that you can copy and paste and use as your own Unpacker, because everyone should be able to have that, and you shouldn't have to use one that's not full perm. And I also have a README card here. It just says thank you so much for purchasing. It also says inside add stuff here. So this will be where we add a product description. But also, if you have questions, to reach out to me with the calling card feature, which is a default folder in Second Life that you get. Everyone has it, so it's calling cards right here. There's my calling card. So, that's all the stuff that's inside. I recommend that you make one. You really don't need to use a fancy mesh that you make like that. You could really just use a prim like this. You could have it just attach and detach from your hand. It doesn't need to be your HUD, but the HUD is what I use. So, now that you have all this set up and rezzed out, you're going to edit your packing box, and then you go to the Content tab, and then you find the things that you want to sell. So for me, it's the curtains. We have the curtains that are open and the curtains that are closed. You're going to click and drag them into here, and then there they are. They're all packed. So, the last thing to make sure that I wanted to make sure of that I tell you is that just because you change the permissions for these two objects, like for the objects you want to put into the packing box, does not mean that the packing box itself has the correct permissions that you want. So by default, I made it so that my base has only copy and mod perms, but if you were to res it with a cube, see it has transfer perms. So if you were going to use just a cube, it would take whatever perms you have set as default for your building perms, and you're going to want to make sure that you turn on or turn off the things that you want. So like if I use this as my base, I would turn off transfer permissions. But we're not going to bother with that because we're all set. But anyways, back to this base. You're going to now, personally, I'm going to now, this is the point when I would be writing my product description. So what you include with this is the same kind of thing as when you're taking a product photo. It's up to you what you include, but I find it to save the most hassle and to be the most informative as a customer to buy something that has perms that, not perms, sorry, that has information that I would want to know about the item. So, for example, if it's a rigged mesh, I would want them to specify in the description, the title, etc. If it's only rigged to one thing, if it's only rigged to one body, one head, that kind of thing. If it's an object that's resable, like the curtains, I would want them to include how many land impact it takes up when it's resed. I know on the marketplace that this is something that you can see in the description, but that's only for one item. So if you're selling a bunch of items all at once, you might want to include all of them in the description. And that's just a good rule of thumb if you're selling any kind of pack, is like add a brief description of everything that's included so that the buyer knows what you're selling them. I feel like this should be common knowledge, but you would be really surprised how little is shared. Just include any details that you think that the buyer should know. I think that that's just a good rule of thumb. So, I'm pretty sure that these only have one land impact when they're resed. Yeah, that's just one. And that's also just one. Okay, so when I write the description, I'm going to include that. So where it says add stuff here, I'm going to write my description in the same kind of style that I usually write, so it'll be like, okay, so this is just a brief description that I think covers everything that you might want when you're buying these curtains. I'll read it out to you. If you have a similar product, you can use this as your reference. I wrote, it's a simple set of mesh curtains to decorate your home with. It comes in a closed and open variant. Both are one land impact when resed and can be unlinked to be positioned independently. Copy Mod comes with a lace trim that you can make transparent, and the curtains themselves are fully tintable and take a square texture for maximum customization. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know, and enjoy. So I'm just going to copy the bulk text here, so Control-C, and hit Save. And I'm going to now open my Notes app. So I use Notepad++, use whatever note app you use. And I just am going to do Control-V, and so we have this text saved. The reason that we're saving this text is I use this as the same text for my uploads on Marketplace, and I mean, if you have something else, if you have a README that has like a dev kit included, obviously you're going to want to have that only here in the product versus on the marketplace. But for just something really simple like this, you're just going to, you know, keep it all together and use the same thing. Saves you a lot of time. Yeah. So now that we have this packing box all filled with objects. I'm now going to just make sure that I change the name of the packing box to Simple Curtains. Make sure it's the same as the product names. Yep. And so here we go. Now, we're all set, actually, making the packed product. I take a copy, right-click, take copy, and then I take the original. And then in my inventory, you can see that the copy went to the objects, and the other one went to the original folder, the creations folder. It doesn't matter where you put the copy in, because we're going to now upload the copy to be unlisted on Marketplace. So, once you have this all set, go to Avatar and go to Marketplace Listings. You need to enable this if you've never done this before, but once you have it enabled, you should be all set. So you're going to want to go to the unassociated thing, and where it says drop folders here to create new listings, just drag and drop one copy of your product. Now, the reason that we made a copy is because this acts as an independent folder where they're moved from the original location, not copied, like the text says. What this means is that if you're selling a product that is no copy, you will not have it in your inventory anymore. This is how like Gacha works on Second Life. So we're going to hit OK because we made a copy, that's what we want. And it made the object into a folder. As you can see, here it is. And now you're going to want to right-click on that, and you're going to hit Create Listing. So now, it's in your unlisted stuff. So here it is in unlisted stuff. You're going to just want to keep that as is for now, because now you're going to go on the marketplace, and you're going to check to make sure that it's in your unlisted stuff. So pull up your browser, go to My Marketplace, go to Merchant Home. So we're on Marketplace, Second Life. Go to Inventory, and then Manage Listings. And then there you go. There's a bunch of stuff that I sell. And there is our Simple Curtains. They're unlisted, and that's great. This is as far as we're going to get for right now for this product, because we're going to now work on the Allomancy end. So, back to Second Life. You have it all set here, and you have the original copy. You're now going to want to put the packaged product that you're selling into your dispenser, which is a part of the Allomancy set. When you get Allomancy, and you get the folder for it, I'm trying to find this. You know, just search Allomancy in your inventory. It should be part of the folder called Allomancy Vending System. There's an item in here called the dispenser. Here's what it looks like. It's a little box. It has a little label on top. And the dispenser is where you put all of your items that you sell at your in-world stores. You need one at each store location, so each region. So if you have one in one region and one in another, you will need to update both when you make a new product. I'm just going to walk over really quick and show you at my store. Obviously, it's under construction, but... so if you go into my store, you won't see my dispenser because I have it hidden. I think this is a smart trick. I have it here hidden in the wall. It just keeps it hidden so that you don't have it. It doesn't look like my store, so just keep it there, but it still functions the same. So we have it here, and what you're going to want to do is right-click and edit it, and then go to Contents. See, it tells you how many objects are inside. And here, we're going to go in and find our packaged curtains item. So this is the creations. You don't need to make a copy in your inventory to put this in the Allomancy object, because the Allomancy object is just a normal... It just makes a copy anyways. So we'll drag it in, and wait for it to load. And Yep, there it is. So see, it says 61 now. It said 60 before. And if we go to the contents and we scroll down, you will see that the curtains are there. So, great. This is just how you would do it. But now, just to triple check, go back to your browser, and then go to stores.allomancy.com, and go to products. You're not going to see it here. That's okay. If you hit new product, and you see a search item, it shows up, which is great. That's what we want for now. So, we have it uploaded and unlisted both to Marketplace and Allomancy. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to work on the photo for the product. So, I would open whatever is your software that you use for editing. For image editing, I use SLUnpacker, kind of a force of habit. You can use GIMP or Paint Tool SI or Photoshop or Clip Studio or whatever. And then I would navigate to where you keep your screenshots. So I went to my screenshot folder, and here is the curtains. So this should go without saying. Don't use AI for the product photo. Full stop. Besides, I shouldn't have to say that. Besides the fact that, all of the ethical and moral quandaries aside, the AI generated photo is not true to the product that you are selling, and that is really insincere and kind of scummy for you as a seller to do. Yeah, it might make your image look really fancy or look more realistic, but it's not what the thing that you're selling actually looks like, and that's not good. I don't think I should have to explain that. Anyways, there's a million ways that you can do this. You might not want to use a green screen. You might take a photo and have a full environment. But for me, this is the way that I take all of my photos, and it's the way that makes the most sense. So I would just I would select this part. I'm very much into just doing like a square image now. Copy that. Just edit it however you like. I'm just doing this kind of thing. Getting it kind of centered. And then canvas size, we go up here. I'm going to make it a square so it's all the same size. Copy this color. And so then I'm going to select. So this is a tool that I have in SLUnpacker. I find it really easy to use, but if you use something else, it's whatever is your magic wand, and you set it so that the tolerance is kind of low. You want it so that it's very pixelated. I'm going to inverse my selection and copy and paste this. I'm also going to now deselect and make the base layer all one color. So as you can see, my products are completely isolated, which is what I want, because I want to be able to select them, create a selection from layer. I find this very easy, but there's a number of ways that you could do this in Clip Studio, Photoshop, etc. I like to add a white outline to my product photos. And then what I like to do is I like to type in just at the top, using the same font I always do, the name of my brand. I do all caps because that's how I like the style. That's not my font. Where is my font? There we go. I turn off anti-aliasing because anti-aliasing, sorry. I don't like how it looks. I like it to be more pixelated. I make it bold, I center the text, and then I just type in the name of the product. So for me, it's off center, but that's okay. We're gonna fix that. Hit OK. This is like the bare minimum of information I feel like you should include with a product, by the way. The name of the product, the name of your brand, so that it's all branded together, and just what the product looks like. So then create a selection from layer. We're gonna expand it even more, and I'm just gonna make it like a purple background of the text. It's a little too dark, but okay, I'm fine with this. Not the prettiest product photo. Sometimes I do like a... See, now we're getting into like just making it, like touching it up. Like, I like sometimes to do this kind of thing. Now it's just kind of a speed paint, I guess. There. Okay. So, you find this on the marketplace, you might buy it. Who knows? especially if you're looking for curtains. Again, I don't think it's good to go overboard with effects. For the same reason, it's not good to use AI. If you use a bunch of filters and a bunch of effects, then it's not going to look like a screenshot from Second Life. And then, like, if you're taking a photo of, like, something like makeup, don't use face app on it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just don't do it. Once you have your product photo the way that you want it, I think it's always smart to size it down, just so that it can import to Second Life properly. I always make it 1024, but you can make it 512 if you wanted. I wouldn't go higher than 1024. You have to load a lot of textures all at once, and that can be hard on someone's computer. And then I save as a JPEG, and I'm just going to call this simple curtain ad, because that's how I name all of my files that are commercial things. Okay, now we have the product photo, we have the stuff unlisted. Let's get it all listed, and then it'll be set for selling. So, back to Second Life. I'm going to go and build and upload an image. I'm going to navigate to the folder where I have my ads. Here's the curtain ad that we made. And there it is. I have Premium Plus, so I'm able to upload for free. If you don't have Premium Plus, you will be paying 10 linden for each upload. Just keep that in mind. That's another reason to not make your ads like 2048. 2048 will make it so you pay 50 linden instead of 10 linden upload. But here is the photo. We have the texture here. Looks just like how I made it. The reason also that we upload it, because we're also going to be uploading it to Marketplace, we need the texture so that you can put it in your in-world store, obviously. And you're also going to need the UUID for Allomancy, which is what we're going to do now. So, right-click on the texture and go to Copy Asset UUID. This is the easiest way to get this. Back to Allomancy, where we were setting up this unlisted product that we put in the dispenser. You're going to paste the UUID here with Control V, and then you're going to set the price. Some people make the price of an in-world store lower than what it is on Marketplace because of Marketplace fees. Allomancy, I believe, takes the same amount of money in terms of fees if you do the 10% per purchase model. So it works out the same. I just set everything to the same thing because Second Life is not my main income. It's just what I do. I think also the price completely is up to you. Price yourself fairly for what you would fairly do it for. And I also try to keep in mind, like, would I buy this product myself if I saw the price of it? Some people don't think like that, but that's how I think. So I'm going to do just 75 linden. Very low price. I want this to be very low. The other thing here is you can do demos here. I didn't talk about this very much, but demo products basically work the same. There's a few buttons to hit. Like if you were to do this, you could do this here, but we're not bothering with that. Okay, so you hit save, and now the product is in Allomancy like the rest of my products. This is great. I think that the next thing to do is to now make the in-world vendor for it because it's all set in Allomancy. So here's the inside of my store. I'm still working on it at the new location, but I have a bunch of products here on the wall. I think this one right here, that's like a pool. I'm going to edit it, and I'm going to drag another copy over by holding Shift. You're going to get a message when you do this, if it's a vendor already, that says allow access. It's really scary looking, but it's just telling you that it's like a vendor. So you're going to want to allow it access. You're going to want to edit it, and you're going to want to select the face for this product. By the way, this is just a really basic build prim. Like, this is just one of these like cubes. And I just made it so that every face except for one is the texture of my advertisement, and inside of it is the Allomancy vendor script, which you can find in the same folder as the dispenser. See, it's just this one. So I find that really easy to use, and it saves me land impact. I don't want to bother with anything that's higher. Okay, so now you go and you find the curtain, advertisement, there's that. The texture is all set, but when you hover over it, it still says that it's the inflatable pool, because the product that's still associated with it is still the pool. So, click on it, click Quick Setup, and then we're just going to type in curtains, because we're just typing a part of the product name. And now, it says that the vendor has now been set up with the simple curtains. So, if you were to pay it, you would be buying the curtains. It's all set in world. Yay. We're all done with that part. But now we have to go on Marketplace, and we have to list it there. So, we had this open, it's unlisted, I would go to Edit. The next things to do, there's a few things here. Marketplace has a bunch of features that Allomancy doesn't really bother with, but they make it easier for people to navigate and find your product. You're going to want to make it active. You're going to want to set the maturity setting to whatever is applicable. Look at the guidelines if you don't know. My product is 100% mesh. If it was fitted mesh, you would include that. If it was a texture, like a tattoo, you would say no mesh. If it's partial mesh, you say partial mesh, etc. The permissions are copy and modify. I keep on automatic redelivery because everyone might need one again. I say that you should unpack it. And here is where product features, I don't bother with those. The title is the same as what I want. This is where you're going to put in that README text that you saved earlier. So there we go. I just copied it. I just put it in. I type in enjoy at the end because that's what I do. And then we get to stuff that, further stuff that we're going to include. So price, 75 as we did for Allomancy. Category, there's a lot of categories, and they can make it really easy to search for stuff. I recommend just going to Marketplace and typing in similar products if there are similar products to what you're selling. So there's tons of curtains. So you go here, you type in curtains. Here's one, what did they use for their category? They just did decor. So that's what I found for most things was just the same thing. So I'm going to type in decor and go here. There we go. And then keywords are tags. I'm a librarian, so keywords are really important to me. Some people do willy-nilly keywords. I would just include whatever you think is applicable. So we're going to do curtains. You have to include each variant of a word if it's plural or not. So like drape, drapes, mesh, lace, there's a lace border of it, modifiable, customizable, decor, decoration, home, house, and that's about it. I don't know. I don't make it much more than that. If it doesn't need a lot, it doesn't need a lot. Include the land impact, so make sure that you include how many land impact it is when they res it. And then here, available quantity is unlimited. SLURL is if you have the product at an in-world store, so like let's say it's a furniture item that has like sitting animations, you can include your in-world location here for people to see it in-world. Video URL would be if it's something that has a video demonstration, like an animation. A GIF could also work there. A PDF could be like for a product guide, if something needs a guide. Related items. This would be where you would add items that are similar. So like let's say I wanted to include, I have a decor set here. I could include that, and I think I might. Upload the image. This is where you're going to be uploading the same image that you uploaded to Allomancy and to Second Life. And this is another part where making the image smaller helps because they have a limit to how much you can upload. A demo item, that's if you need a demo. And a bunch of stuff, I don't bother with these. This is if you have co-creators. I don't bother with it. And then just hit update. And there you go. There is your product. And the green check mark means that it's listed. So click on it, the title of it, and there we go. It's now on Marketplace. If I go to my store, you can see that it shows up in my store. And now people can go and buy it. So, that was kind of just the step-by-step guide. That's pretty much it. Some final thoughts on it. Second Life's Marketplace will automatically have this pop up via age sorted by newest first, or relevancy, or best selling. But if you want to advertise your product, sorry, that was really loud. If you advertise your product, that is a great way to just have it out there and get more people to see it and buy it. So on social media, Prim feed, Discord servers, wherever you sell a product, that's one way that you can do it. I find that if I don't advertise something, it can take up to like 24 hours for products that I sell to be noticed on the marketplace, which I'm not really sure why it's like that. I think that they have some kind of processing period before it's like listed for everyone. But yeah, just wait for that to happen and then you'll be all set. And like I showed you earlier, Allomancy and the marketplace both have redelivery features. So like if you make a mistake in your product, just fix it and repackage it, and then just send it out again with the redelivery. Really easy. See, it says schedule redelivery here. If you select this, you could go edit, or sorry, on Allomancy you would do send again. That's how you would do a mass redelivery. So yeah, go forth and make lots of products and sell them really nicely.